Morning. You all have heard about commercial crew, commercial cargo programs the last couple of days. We just want to, maybe some of you may not have heard about the Flight Opportunities Program. We are the other small commercial program, okay? And we would like to be the little engine that could, okay? Anyway, that's really how we're looking at ourselves. And let me see how this is going to work. We are part of the Space Technology Mission Directorate within NASA, and let me kind of give you an idea regarding what, I'm not going to have all the time in the world to talk more about it. I just kind of give you highlights, because I think my time has, since you're running late, it's shortened a little bit. Therefore, I'll try to do things a little bit faster. Space Technology Mission Directorate has 9 programs. These are like means to an end. These programs are a means to an end toward developing future, space technologies for future missions, whether it is a NASA mission or whether it is a commercial mission, but nonetheless, these are all future missions, okay? On the right-hand side, you see 3 programs, the Centennial Challenge, the Flight Opportunities, and the SPIR program. They are focused on creating new markets and also developing innovative economy. Therefore, as Maston could vouch, they have actually participated in all the 3 programs, starting from the Centennial Challenge, and then SPIR, and now part of Flight Opportunity. Therefore, essentially, this would encourage more and more companies to come on that path. Okay. Flight Opportunity, as I said, we are part of STMD. That means they are focused on facilitating maturation of technology. And our other key goal is to also foster the industry, the emerging commercial space industry, and that's what you're going to see for the rest of the presentation. What have we done last year? For example, in our payload pipeline, we have about 140 or so payloads. Some of them we have already completed flying. Some of them are on the way to suborbital flights, and others are in the queue, okay? Last year, we had a number of payload flights, and we used a number of platforms, including Up Aerospace, Maston Space System, Near Space Corporation, and we also have a number of payloads manifested for the first Virgin Galactic space flight, okay? We're all waiting to make that happen, and we have payloads even for the second flight. Just to give an idea regarding the number of technologies that we have, and also what kind of technology areas they address. This is kind of give you like a quick overview of what are they addressing. And I think I'll probably, since I'll be making these charts available, I think I'll skip to the next one. This is like, the next few charts talks about, essentially they talk about what are we doing for the space station? What are the technologies that we actually help mature the technologies down here through suborbital flights as well as parabolic flights? What are they doing on the space station? Like, for instance, this one is an electromagnetic formation flight that we tested on Zero-G Corporation's aircraft, and it's on the orbit, and then we're using the technology developed to actually do this formation flight, or at least test out the formation flight capability. This is this diapason. This payload actually came from Italy. Okay, this is from a company called DTM from Italy, and we manifested them to be flown on this Up Aerospace space launch we had last year. And that instrument, it's just to measure particle detection. It's actually on the station. Therefore, this is another one win for us. And the third one, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, because you all have heard about Made in Space. And the only thing I want to add to this is, like, we also have some additional flights planned to be to put some newer printers on the next Virgin Galactic space flight. Of course, Sean Mahoney talked a lot about a number of zombie flights that Maston has performed so far. And of course, out of the lot of flights he's talked about, maybe a significant part of it have been flown for our program toward essentially developing precision landing system for hazard avoidance as well as precision landing. Therefore, we have Draper Labs, and we have JPL, and also Astrobotic Technologies who are working toward their Google Lunar Lander X Prize. Okay. Therefore, we have been working with all these companies and also NASA institutions toward actually maturing this precision landing technology for something even for March 2020 rover, 2020, yeah. The next few charts, again, I don't want you to really kind of start reading all of them. The fact is that we have a lot of payloads that we have selected that have either flown or will be flying that are bound for the ISS, that could support the human space, human health, as well as life support system there. And the one I want to point out there is the first one in the list, which is for the intracranial pressure, which is of a high priority work area for the human research program. The next one is supporting ISS as well as the instrumentation on ISS. The one I want to highlight there, or maybe the couple of them that I have there, is the first one is the Mariah capsule, which is going to be more like an Earth return vehicle that's going to be launched out of ISS sometime in the future. And that is to bring some down mass. Instead of having to depend on just the Dragon, this is to actually bring some down mass from the ISS through these capsules. And we're going to have a flight of this on a suborbital flight maybe sometime next year. And the last one on the list, I just want to highlight that one, which is more like a vibration isolation platform from Control Dynamics. That was actually developed by funding from STMD's Game Changing Development Program, and then we have provided a flight for this payload on and up suborbital flight last year, and it will be again flying next week, actually. Okay, and yesterday I just found out that Casey's has selected this payload to be flown to the station sometime in the future. Okay, therefore, this is like we see some good synergy between various programs within NASA as well as Casey's, and what we are trying to do is like this is more like what I call as accidental collaboration. I want this to be more like a planned collaboration. Okay, that's really what I'm trying to do, and we are actually working with Cases to make things happen, see how we can collaborate better. Okay, there are more payloads. These are for satellite servicing as well as for CubeSat service, and quite a few of them. Again, as I said, I don't have a lot of time to talk about the details, and this one is for going beyond the Earth orbit, basically like for the exploration on other planets and so on. There's so many that we have been working on. As you can see, we are a small program, but we have been busy. Okay, and the next is how do we bring? I said I have about 140 payloads in the pipeline, and we are also seeking new payloads. Okay, and this is a solicitation right now on the street, and I talk about this revised approach. The revised approach essentially is we're trying to let the technology developer to buy the flight on their own. We actually will pay them to purchase the flight instead of we buying the flight on their behalf. Okay, we're trying to actually force them to do the collaboration or maybe purchasing the flight from the vendor directly. And the reason is our vision, as we had stated earlier, that we want to be one among many customers, okay? And by doing what we're doing, we're actually forcing it to happen, okay? Basically like letting the researchers go and talk to the vendors on their own rather than we being in the middle. I think this will happen. And then the next one is, even though we are mainly focused on space technology development, we also want to collaborate with the Science Mission Directorate within NASA as well as education, only because we believe that as part of this charter that we have to foster this industry, we want to make sure that we also bring in the science component. We want to be able to offer these commercial platforms, flight platforms to both science as well as education. Especially on the education side, we feel that these are really excellent opportunities that we can offer, we meaning NASA, the big NASA, not the program itself, to actually start training the workforce early. Okay, and that also means that we can develop more technologies, and we want to get to a stage where we are flying not tens of payloads per year, maybe more like thousands. Okay, I know that's a dream, but I think that can be done, and that's really what we're talking about, the power of 10, and I think we really we're talking about orders of magnitude more. Okay, and that's, again, I hope we can get there. I think we will get there. Okay. Let's see. One thing I just want to add here is like the demand from all these would actually stimulate the supply. And then I want to talk a little bit about the supply, which is something that we recently selected, that we actually have 4 companies selected through our IDIQ contracts. And we have Up Aerospace, Marston Space System, Virgin, and then the newcomer is, of course, you heard from Worldview yesterday, but Paragon and Worldview, they're basically part of the same entity. Okay, Paragon will be providing us some balloon opportunities as part of the program. What we did this time is we essentially selected only the vendors with either operational capability or near operational capabilities, but we also have what we call as annual on-ramp to get them on board. In case they get ready next year, they'll be able to actually get on board this contract. Okay. And we also want to actually help companies who are not there yet, okay? And that's why we have this actually RFI on the street today, basically talking about, okay, how can we actually do this public-private partnership with these companies with emerging capabilities, okay? I have some details here, and essentially we believe we can help these emerging companies, okay? And to summarize, essentially what I'm saying is we want to get to a stage where instead of flying every quarter, previously it used to be every year. Some of the suborbital flights used to happen every year. And then we actually can do it quarterly, and now we are even trying to do things monthly. I want to get to a stage even we are actually flying every week. Okay, that's my goal, and I think it can happen. Okay, and I have given here my contact information, and I also have given some links. Okay, just want to let you know that I tried to get ahead of myself by trying to post this presentation online. And actually, I even tweeted just before I walked in here, okay? Unfortunately, I just said I got ahead of myself because the link is not active, or it's not working very, very well. Therefore, if you use the hashtag ISPCS, you should be able to get to that. Hopefully, in about an hour or so, we should be able to fix that problem. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ilka. We got time for one question here. I was just going to pose the question, if you had one piece of recommendation for whether it's suborbital spaceflight companies or universities with how to get involved and participate in some of these programs, what is the best way to do it, and how do they reach out to you? I know you have the contact information here, but what are your pieces of recommendation?
I think we had this announcement of flight opportunities, like we had 2 or 3 rounds every year the last 3 years. We're trying to kind of, if you follow what we are doing there, I think that probably will give an idea regarding, okay, what did we put out and then what did we select. I think just to track our program would actually allow the researchers as well as the vendors, okay, to see where we are going. And also, if you look at the current open solicitation as well as the RFI, that also provides an idea regarding where we are going.
Great. Okay,
and as I said, I have given all the contact information, and I'm just a phone call or an email or a Twitter handle away.
Sounds great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers.